October 9th, 2021, I just left Bell Boulevard, and as I was walking back with the pink umbrella on the corner of 42nd and Bell Boulevard, the odor coming from the sewer grate, like where it trickles water, but it's an open system, really smelled like rotten eggs. I want to say sulfur dioxide, perhaps, which I've heard referenced. Not that I'm an expert, I'm not chemically trained, however, it gives off, and it's so potent this evening. And there's a street fair going on. It's not a packed street fair, but there's still stuff going on there. So I took NYPD's advice and I called 311 at first because I don't know if it's considered an emergency, if it's something that they take on the phone. But then they transferred me to 911, which I reported to them the smell because it's on the Benjamin Moore side and it's on the City Med side. But it's that whole corner that just when you walk through it or past it, it just, I mean, it's hard to catch your breath afterwards and it just sticks with you. It's very potent this evening. So I called that in. The operators that answered were very courteous, so thank you. Tonight was also the night where my children came over, and Linda would not let me eat dinner with them, but I also have no money and I have nowhere else to go. So I used the $4 that my son gave me, and I bought myself a slice of pizza, and I left while Linda was eating dinner and serving dinner to the boys. All four of them sat and ate with Grandma and Grandpa. I walked Bell Boulevard with the green and black umbrella. I also stopped on my way. There was an NYPD woman representative, which and also the security that's there when they have street fairs. So I said to both of them, I said, if you could just assess my whatever. I said, I'm just letting you know I was denied food and shower in the residence that I'm staying in. I've had problems in the past. I just want you to assess my demeanor. I am not angry. I am not hostile. I am not aggressive by any stretch or measure. I was like, this is my normal whatever, is kind of indifference. I was like, they're eating. I left. I went out for a walk. I was like, and that's normally, I just disengage and whatever. I give them their respectful. So I said, so if you could just do that, I would greatly appreciate it. I was like, because, and then I mentioned that my mother went out with one of her friends and then came home and got really aggressive or like on it like a kick about I have to now, otherwise she's not gonna allow me to eat or shower, but I have to get vaccinated. And I'm like, see this and this, I got other stuff going on health wise, like I'm not ready to like take bioengineered products. I'm just not. So, and it's not fair to be forced or harassed into or ultimatumed into taking an unnecessary vaccination. I mean, she's vaccinated. I'm no threat to her. Besides the fact, I don't really go out in public. I mean, I walk on the street, but that's, I don't go into public crowded areas. So I mentioned that, and then I walked away. I also had an interesting conversation with my son Benjamin this evening, where Benjamin said that before we left the old house, he has a memory. Now, I know there's such a thing as seeded memories, SEEDED, where it's not a real experience or it's a real something that transpired, but it's threaded in wrong or in the wrong loop sequence. He said he grabbed me and that then I smacked him. And I said, Benjamin, that doesn't sound like our relationship. I was like, I don't like being held against my will. I was like, and if I'm trying to flee a situation for my own safety and somebody tries to hold me back, then yes, whatever. But my own kids, no, it wouldn't. He says, well, I remember I said something to you and you smacked me. I said, well, first of all, that would be my right as a mother. I was like, but second of all, I have never laid hands on you, ever. I said, think of your childhood. I never smacked you, and I never yelled at you. And he's like, that's because you were hardly there. I'm like, that's not true either. I was like, I would go to work, and I would come home. Besides the fact, I always had a live in, stay with me nanny, almost as like a second set of eyes, and I had a tenant that lived with us as a second security measure to ensure that there was no yelling, there was no fighting, there was no screaming, there was no any of that. So and that was when the children were younger, all three of them out in Ronkonkoma. We're only speaking of Ronkonkoma. And so Benjamin said that when right before we left the house, like 5-6 years ago, he went and he grabbed me and then I smacked him and I said, I don't remember that, I'll be honest with you, and I never come at you aggressive, Benjamin. I said my first instinct is to leave a situation. If I see aggression going on or yelling or a situation going south, I don't stick around. I just don't. I hang up, I disengage, I go out. I go in opposite direction. That's just self-defense for me at this point, because I really don't trust I just don't trust humans. I was safe when it was just me and you, like boys when you were younger, but now with Nono and Grandma involved, I don't feel safe. I was like, in fact, I was like, if you remember, for so many years, Nono wasn't even invited to holidays. You remember that? I was like, there's a reason for that. I was like, there was something that went on with Grandma and him, and big fight. Judy got involved. She was going to move in with us. And again, the storyline just keeps changing. I was like, but if you remember, Benjamin, I don't call my father. I don't go seek his approval, his attention. It's like he doesn't exist. For all those years that I raised you, if Grandma wanted him out there, he came out. But that's it. I was like, because he has his quiet private business deals that never go anywhere and have never benefited any of us. So I keep him at a distance because I don't know what he's up to. And then I said something else to Benjamin, and he goes, well, you should be in Ronkonkoma right now with that house. And I go, I would have been, except Nono was helping me because I was so overwhelmed with so many situations coming at me at once, between getting sick, my back absolutely hurting me, needing some form of medication. Then I take the medication, then they claim I'm a drug addict. I get off the medication because I'm not a drug addict. And then, like, Anthony sparks off Jason as a detective, sparks off Lewis, and I don't know what's going on with that situation. One tenant stops paying me. I'm losing the other house. I was like, I'm fighting for money for business. I'm like, and then I just get sick. I was like, so Nono was collecting the rent from Ronkonkoma. I was going through a workout. He was supposed to pay the lawyer the money that he had collected, and instead he winds up paying down some other debt, and I wind up losing the house in Ronkonkoma. I was like, this is how disgusting everybody is. And then Benjamin goes, well, you sound like a victim. He's like, you everybody's always doing it to you. Everybody's always blaming you. I was like, now you sound like them. I was like, here's the thing, Ben. I took care of everything for so long, and I always had you boys behind me so I could shelter you from the craziness that goes on. I was like, but the problem is, I actually needed help for once because I was crumbling with all underneath all the weight and pressure of everybody coming at me at once. I was like, and the father figure I had, rather than helping me out, took the fucking money and I don't know what he did with it. He says he paid a bill. Linda says that he paid a bill. I was like, but I'm out $50,000. I can't pay the lawman and I lose the house. I was like, so now I have no income and no shelter to myself. Plus, I have no job. So exactly what is it that, like, that is a victim, Ben? I am a victim of a crime. It's just nobody, like my own children, don't seem to care, and you don't seem to be getting my part right. You keep blaming me for some reason, and I don't quite understand you. I'm star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. That's the situation that transpired tonight, which is October 9th, 2021. I showed him these signs, which my children have absolutely no clue. I told them that it was high physics, it's environmental, it's combined in, it's like Air Force One level symbols of importance, which they don't normally teach in the public or in other area. I was like, but it's a stabilization feature that I need, that level of medic help and correspondence. But unfortunately, I don't have access to that. The situation that I was speaking upon, where he says that I was violent towards him, my eldest son, when he was in his late teens, like 18, right before he graduated from high school. That was in around the year 2017, somewhere between the end of 2016 through 2017. There was a huge problem out in Patchogue Station, Patchogue, New York 11772, and in Bayside, where Jason, Anthony, and my father got into something quietly, unbeknownst to me. Nobody talked to me, and it was really confusing for me. And I was trying to figure it out from afar and keep my kids safe and myself safe, but I wasn't feeling well. So that's the time frame, and that's the actual event from my point of view, my POV. But I know there was also, when the children leave, there's some form of brainwash chemistry that goes on with the psycho storyline that's in scripture, in script and scripture, all wrong. I even said to them tonight, I'm like, I have like a parallel paradigm with the truth and reality of who we are tonight and who we're supposed to be and what's transpired. I was like, and there's such a big gap, and I don't know how to bridge your consciousness of what actually went on with what I know. Because we just don't talk about it, because they're that difficult and they're that dense, and it just doesn't penetrate. My words just don't go through. And Alexander and I talked about sharing the 6 infinity stones between his infinity and my infinity. I have 3, he has 3, and together we share 6 stones. I brought that up tonight, and I did io with him, like my corazon, like my heart. He's my heart. And I'm trying to think of the last piece that goes with that. Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken.